The Toronto Maple Leafs continue to make headlines with a big trade that happened early this morning. Plus, Canada's men's soccer team have a huge moment on the pitch, the field, whatever you want to call it, but a lot of concerns surrounding the roster. It's a pitch. Okay, Dan. Welcome to Off the Roster. Brought to you by our founding partner, Proline. Having split loyalties during the tournament makes things way more interesting. Now you can back all your teams with an exclusive split loyalty parlay bet from Proline. Download the new app today, and yes, we will talk about that amazing moment, minus something that happened that we will talk about. I'm trying to ignore right now on the pitch. Trying to forget about it. A historic day on the pitch. Yes, we want Happy Dan. So we'll do like some distractions with some shiny things. But first, we'll do a little bit of Leafs talk because it was just announced the Leafs have acquired Darren Raddysh from the Tampa Bay Lightning in exchange for Toronto's 5th round selection in the 2026 NHL draft. This is reportedly an 8-year deal worth $8.5 million a year. Your reaction?
Wow. Did not expect this one from John Chaika and the Maple Leafs this morning, but as we've seen, he is willing to make moves. So yeah, it's surprising. Yeah, it's a little bit uncomfortable and reportedly going to cost the Leafs an 8-year deal at $8.5 million per. So by my quick math, that's $68 million for Darren Raddysh, who I think his career earnings were less than $3 million to this point of his career. A late bloomer, a guy that nobody would have expected to get this kind of a contract a year ago, but he had the season that he did, 22 goals and 70 points. So is it risky? Yes. Is it exciting at the same time? If you're a Leafs fan, yes. I like it when a team shows aggression in the free agent market, and they do here. This is the best free agent available on defense, and the Leafs went out and got the player. It's a big ticket. It's probably not going to live well for the entirety of the 8 years, but that doesn't mean it can't bring value to the Leafs right now, because Darren Raddysh does check a lot of boxes that the Leafs need to improve on in order to get better and turn things around quickly next season.
This, of course, will lead to a lot of other questions surrounding the Toronto Maple Leafs when it comes to defense, and we'll discuss that. But, Dan, I thought that people didn't want to sign in Toronto. I thought they didn't want to sign in Toronto. People from Toronto in the area didn't want to sign with the Maple Leafs.
Nobody wants to be a Maple Leaf, Zach.
No top players or.
Cabbie's not even here to defend himself, unfortunately. But
yes, Cabbie will be back Monday.
Yes.
I'll just say the one thing that I thought of right away was it gave me a little bit of David Clarkson PTSD. I hope that's not the case, but it's like the big. The big ticket free agent, the hometown kid, he's coming home. I think it's a different scenario here, luckily, but that was the immediate thought.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to just
don't have a great record of signing defensemen in free agency. Sorry to cut you off. Like Jeff Finger, Mike Komisarek. It's there's some pretty ugly ones.
Yeah, no, and that's entirely fair. The one thing the one thing that I just want to point out, because I know there's going to be some shock value on the initial number that we see, as it was pointed out by Matt Larkin on Twitter here. By year 2 of the Darren Raddysh deal, the NHL salary cap will be at $113.5 million. By that point, an $8.5 million AAV will be the equivalent of $6.59 million last season when the cap was $88 million. So I think we're going to have some of these numbers that get signed that right off the bat, we're going to look at them and go, oh my God, what is that? Just because the number of what we've been used to for the last 8-9 years, it would be so high. But with the changing landscape of the salary cap, I think over time, these numbers might ultimately end up not hurting as bad as they look right away.
People have to realize, like, $8.5 million, you've got to rewire your brain. $8.5 million is not top pairing defenseman money anymore.
Yeah.
And certainly won't be as the cap continues to grow as this deal ages. There's still a lot of risk in this. The Leafs are betting on a guy who had a breakout at 30 years old, maintaining a lot of what that breakout showed to be this past year with the Tampa Bay Lightning. There's no guarantees in that. But this isn't a player that's got bad underlying metrics. He moves the puck well. He's got an absolute bomb from the point. Has, I think he was in the 96th percentile for shot power last year in the National Hockey League. consistently getting shots over 90 miles an hour and up to 100 miles an hour even. They need somebody that can be a shooting threat on the power play that isn't named Austin Matthews. This helps them on that front. It's going to continue what we talked about earlier this week when they acquired Emil Andre, getting their puck out of their own end, spending less time in the defensive zone, and spending more time on offense, which was ultimately the backbreaker for the team under Craig Berube.
Hey, how about offense? Vladdy had a home run yesterday. We'll definitely talk about the Blue Jays in a moment.
The home run jacket still fits.
It still
it's
fits.
Nice to see.
We'll keep the conversation going with the Toronto Maple Leafs and everything surrounding them in about 15 minutes. We are going to have the first Canadian player to ever score a goal in the World Cup coming up in about 5 minutes. So I do want to talk about what happened on the pitch yesterday for Canada.
I love that you got festive for the occasion, wearing all red like a true Canadian.
They had
and
6
me
goals.
Classically in a black shirt.
Of course, Jonathan David had a hat trick, so tying Messi right now for how many goals scored right now
3
in the
goals.
tournament, which I absolutely love. Shut down the haters and the critics for at least a moment. Let's just do like shiny, sparkly things here and not acknowledge for like at least 2 minutes what is the negative storyline and scary storyline surrounding the team. But what did you make of their performance and the heart they had yesterday?
I loved it. From minute one, it was like, this is the Canada that I expected to see against Bosnia, that was maybe a little nervous in the first half against the Bosnians and started to find their game in the second half. But you could see it right from the get-go. They were on the front foot. They were putting Qatar on their heels. And that's what Jesse Marsch has tried to instill in this team as an aggressive squad. And they got their first goal and they kept pushing for the second and the third, and on and on and on it went. This is the Canada that we've all wanted to see, that we've all known could be there. That this squad, with the amount of talent, the golden generation that the men's program has, the only golden generation that the men's program has ever had, and is finally starting to show it. Now, they performed pretty well in 2022 in Qatar, but the opponents were just kind of the equalizing factor. Mm-hmm. You know, you played Belgium and you had to play Croatia. Like, you had world powers plus Morocco, who's a good side as well. They were in the group of death in 2022. And that was the main reason that squad, despite performing pretty well, did not get a win, did not get a point. Here, you've got a much more favorable schedule, and they failed to take advantage in the first game, but they didn't let that stop them in game 2. And this is one of the greatest moments the men's program, it is the greatest moment that the men's program has ever produced. You could put it in the line of memories we will have from a soccer perspective with Christine Sinclair in London in 2012, to a much smaller extent, even the 2000 Gold Cup, which is like a very footnote for the men's program compared to this. And then, of course, winning the gold in Tokyo on the women's side too. Now the men's program has a massive moment to match along with that. And these are the kinds of things that create memories for young Canadians that you live with forever. In the same way Raptors fans will forever remember the Kawhi shot, or Leafs fans with, if I'm going back to my childhood, the Nikolai Borshevsky goal against Detroit, right? Those are these are the kinds of moments. What do you mean, what?
That's from your childhood.
These are the kinds of moments that build a sports fan, that forever make people soccer fans. I've always known soccer is, Canada's a football country. I lived it my entire life growing up, but we always followed the Italian team because we didn't have anything to tie us to the Canadian squads. Now we do. And that's the kind of moment that creates generations of soccer players and soccer fans for years in this country.
And Jonathan David getting that hat trick is the first time since 1966 that the home country had a hat trick. Do you know what else happened that year? It was England.
Yeah, England won. England won the thing. So if we're gonna do that,
it's coming home.
It's
coming
home
to
Canada. It's staying home in Canada. That's good. Yeah, 1966. England ended up winning after that. So
I love it. And yesterday, like, there was a great moment because they were up so early that you saw at halftime that Bombito came in. He was obviously dealing with an injury, and then there was, is Alphonso Davies going to come in as well? So, like, that was a moment where everyone was so happy. And then, Dan, I want you to take me through the heartbreak of then what followed.
My stream actually broke before I saw what happened to Ismaël Koné. And
you're lucky because you could hear what happened.
So when it got back up, I just saw somebody getting carted off the field. And I was like, what just happened? And I had to go and find exactly the moment of what happened and see that it's one of Canada's most important players. Probably Canada's, he was their best player against Bosnia, as Jesse Marsch pointed out. He won the man of the match in that game. Look, the middle of the park is so important. For anybody that's just jumping on board to the Canada bandwagon right now, they need to get their midfield right, and Ismaël Koné is a massive loss to the Canadian midfield. It's hard because you have this great moment that gets overshadowed by this massive injury, and anybody that's followed the Canadian men's program for as long as I have, it's like anytime something good happens, there's something there to kind of take it a little bit away or dampen the spirits on that. We shouldn't dampen what was an incredible performance in a must-win game, and now you've set yourself up to only need a draw to win this group against Switzerland next Wednesday. But it's hard not to wonder, how this is going to affect Canada moving forward in this tournament. They are going to ask a lot of Nathan Saliba, Matthew Chouanière, maybe even Jonathan Osorio to step into the shoes of Ismaël Koné, but that's going to be very difficult because there's just nobody else on this roster that can do the things that he does. So it hurts Canada right now. I really feel for the player too because he had an incredible club season in Italy and was probably parlaying his performance there, plus what he'd done so far in this World Cup with all those extra eyes, into a massive big transfer to a bigger club and get onto a bigger stage. And now that's delayed, let's say, for the time being, given this injury.
Yeah, it's tough. Marsch confirming that Kone is in hospital preparing for surgery. Then you have Bombito actually posting on social media that he went and visited him. I think they all went and visited him in the hospital, and you just wish him well.
Yeah.
You're devastated for him. You're heartbroken for him, but Canada, that was a fantastic performance. Other than that,
that's Saliba goal too after coming on.
And then holding
the free
up,
kick, yes.
Yeah, paying tribute to his friend that he's known for such a long time. And I have to tell you, I paid tribute back in 1995 trying to recreate a goal that I very vividly remember. And I'm so happy that this person is joining us on the show right now. It is the president and CEO and founder of the Good Games and former World Cup soccer player and member of Canada's Soccer Hall of Fame, Helen Stoumbos. Good morning to you.
Morning, Helen. Oh, we don't have audio on Helen.
We don't have audio on you for a moment, but we will try back in just a second. But yeah, I remember vividly in 1995 because, I called it a field then, never have called it a pitch in my life when I was playing soccer. Just so desperately trying to recreate that. And that is a huge reason why I started to play soccer when I was younger. And like, there's this photo I even have on my Instagram, which was from around that time. And my dad was my soccer coach. And I just thought it was like the coolest thing because we knew it was the first time a goal was ever scored in the World Cup by a Canadian. Mm-hmm. But I laugh because I've heard her tell the story over the years that she did not know in the moment that it was her first goal. Let's try this out. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
good morning, Helen.
Okay. Yay, Hall of Famer. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. And, after watching that game last night, I'm so excited for Canada.
Yeah, you're the expert here. You're the former player. You're the Hall of Famer. So what did you make of Canada's performance yesterday?
I think they showed the world that they're here to play, and they showed the world that they can compete. I think every time we think of, Canada and the World Cup for the men's side, we always think it's they're just going in and they won't score any goals. But to come out like that, I think they basically put a stamp on the World Cup that they're here to play and they're here to compete. And they need to be taken seriously. I thought they had a great performance. They played well. They were strong. They attacked. I loved the fact that they kept pressing. A lot of times when you're, dominating, you don't really press to score goals, but they were really pressing to score goals, and the goals were beautiful goals. And I thought it was a great performance by Canada, and amazing to see. And all my teammates in Vancouver were sending me pictures and videos from the game, and it looked like it was an amazing atmosphere in Vancouver.
Well, we talk about that amazing atmosphere. Like, I'm even sorry to bring this up because, yes, we want to celebrate such a dominant performance for them. But when you see, like, your teammate go down in an injury, like, there's no way that does not shake them, because you even had Jesse Marsch spoke about it after the game, saying, yeah, it did impact them. For you, playing at the highest level, when you have a teammate injured, like, the mental toll that kind of takes, especially when it's during a game, what is that like?
I mean, it can actually fire you up a little bit. Like, you almost, take that as inspiration to want to play for them. I've been in that situation where we've had, player go out injured. So it can actually add a little bit of fire and inspiration to actually work harder for that player. So, it happens in soccer. Don't like seeing it. It was awful, terrible to see. But I thought the team definitely looked fired up afterwards as well. And at the end of the game, they looked fired up as well.
Yeah. They definitely did. And you heard it from a lot of the players afterwards too. Like, okay, well, now we've got to go and make this a long run into the tournament for Ismael. So he's going to be still very much a part of the squad and on their minds as they move forward. This is such a big moment. We've seen a lot of big moments for Canadian soccer. A lot of them have been through the women's program, Helen, through the years, and now the men have started to have their own moment in the spotlight. But this is just another one of those things. Like, hey, like, there are soccer fans, football fans in this country, and we've known that there have been, but maybe they've been hibernating for a long time, or they're supporting their other heritage, their parents' heritage, and now we have something that we can cumulatively get together on behind Canada and really support what we can do as a soccer nation.
Yeah, we did it for the Women's World Cup in 2015 as well. Up until this year, it was the single biggest sporting event in Canada. So I think we've proven that soccer, we have an appetite for soccer here. People love soccer. I think when when success is added onto that, it definitely adds a lot more interest and attention on the sport. But any big event you have, like a FIFA, is just so good for the sport, just to make people recognize that we are able to compete against the best in the world. And I think that they're proving that in this tournament. But, we've proven we're a soccer nation. If you look at, how successful the 2015 Women's World Cup was, and now this World Cup, I mean, people are really into it, are excited. I'm in a lot of forums with Canadian soccer supporters, and they're just stoked to be able to support their team on home soil, and to be able to host an event like this is massive for soccer, and it's massive for the future of soccer, because every time there's a big event like this, you find statistically that more kids and young people get involved in sport, and so you're going to find a lot more kids wanting to get involved in soccer after this tournament.
I love the mentality that Coach Jesse Marsch has kind of instilled in this Canadian squad, where normally the underdog, but now they come into this situation, and given the amount of talent available to this Canada squad, they're the favorite, and he has taken that and instilled an aggressive mentality into this squad, and it's different to see from the men's program, but also refreshing to see a team that just wants to go out there and put their opponents under duress.
Yeah, I thought that was the part of the game I really enjoyed yesterday. I thought they got all their nerves out in the first game. They were a little bit shaky, but I felt like yesterday they were. I loved how much they were attacking, and I think I said that at the beginning. They didn't just go there to defend or to be safe in how they played. They were very aggressive. They took chances. They attacked, and I mean, as a soccer fan, above being a soccer player, I love to watch that kind of soccer. I think the biggest complaint I've heard so far was Portugal and how they kept playing it back to the goalkeeper. Well, I love that Canada was just moving forward and driving those balls and pushing players forward and trying to score goals. It's an exciting way to watch soccer. I think the fans would have loved that. And it's great to see Canada playing that way. I think we've always kind of looked at the Canadian men's team, maybe we didn't have that in us, but we're proving, to the world that We have great players. We have a depth of players, and we have the ability to compete against anybody in the world. And I think they proved that yesterday.
I really need to make this about you because, as I mentioned to you in an email, I was trying not to fangirl. It is like such a pleasure to have you on the show with us today. And I already shared with our audience how you inspired me to play soccer, which I immediately knew I was not great at, but I had fun playing. Can you take us through the moment when you scored the first goal ever at a World Cup as a Canadian?
Yeah, we were playing in the FIFA World Cup in Sweden in 1995, long time ago. and I'll be honest, like we were losing to England, and it's funny, I scored directly off a corner kick, which, maybe people would think that was a fluke, but I trained to score off corner kicks, and I even told my roommate the night before that I could score on corner kicks. And so I think we're at a point where I was just like, I'm just going to go for it. And so I scored directly off a corner kick. But I'll be honest with you, like if you watch the game back or that playback, we all just got the ball, took it out of the net, we ran to half, and we just needed to keep playing because we wanted to score more goals. So it wasn't actually until maybe 6 months later that I was hosting a TV show, and one of the questions on the show was, who was the first player to score a World Cup goal for Canada? And I said, I don't know, who was it? And that's how I found out it was me. So there was no fanfare back then. I mean, we came back from Sweden, and I think our games aired a week later at midnight. So nothing was really talked about. We just went and played and came back. So it wasn't something that anybody really said anything about or talked about, or it wasn't news. It wasn't out there. But I feel like it's a good record to hold, though.
Oh, yeah. And you should be a part of the conversation every time when we're talking about soccer in Canada, because that goal and the women's team have inspired so many people to play soccer, when we even talk about Christine Sinclair then. Yeah. So how have you seen the narrative then switch from 1995, where the games were played like a week later, to where we're at now, and so many just embracing it?
I mean, you can't even compare it. I went to the 2015 Women's World Cup with my World Cup players. And I think we walked around, and it was amazing just to see young girls wearing, shirts with Sinclair and Diana Masson's name on the back. And when we played, the only people at our games were our parents and our families. So that's how different things have gotten. And just to see, I think you're seeing women's soccer has a fan base. I think it's great for young girls to see women succeeding and the ability of these women soccer players. I think it's important, and it's amazing to see. But the difference is like night and day. We trained. When I trained at Iverwin Stadium, and I trained in minus 40-degree weather on ice and snow. And we did what we had to do just to try to get some touches of the ball. But it wasn't a pretty time to play the game. But you know what? When you love the sport, for me, soccer was pretty much my life. I loved playing the game. It was something that just brought me to life every time I kicked the soccer ball, and it was all worth it. It takes everybody in our history to make things happen, and we were part of that growth spurt, and it still continues to evolve. And I think we're seeing that now. We're still seeing the women's game evolving, and with the new Women's Pro League, it's just adding more attention to the game, which I think, when people see women's soccer, and I always used to say this, I think they're surprised by how good it is and how exciting it is to watch. And, there were times I would say, and I'm not saying this because I'm a women's player, but I would say I actually preferred watching women's games sometimes, because I thought there's no rolling around. They're fast games. They're quick. The skill level is amazing. And I think when people watch women's soccer, I think they're pleasantly surprised by how good the quality is and how technical and tactical the players are, which is, I think, a really nice thing to see. And that's just, again, another thing that's increased is just the skill level and the pace of the game has gotten really fast.
Amen to that. I love all this. And I also love how I said you've been inspiring so many people, but you continue to inspire people because you are the founder and CEO of the Good Games. And as much as I would like to say everybody in the world should know all about this, they may not. Yeah. So can you tell everyone why you created this and when it's happening next?
Sure. I think originally I created it. I was an athlete, and I finished my soccer career, and I had a knee injury, and I wanted to still play sport. And so, later on in my 40s, I started playing beach volleyball, and remember going to a tournament, and I was like, why don't we have like anything for us to play in. So that's kind of what the inspiration was. I was like, oh, let's create something that, people like me can compete and play. So that was the initial inspiration. So it became like a place where we can run a multi-sport competition where athletes could feel like they're in Olympic Games, and be part of something that's exciting, that they could go with their teammates for a weekend, get away, enjoy some time. And then that kind of evolved a little bit to we do run athlete competitions, and mostly adult. We have teams from all over the world. I got a team coming from the UK this year, all over the States. But the bigger part of it is actually a festival of sport. And people are like, what is that? It's basically, think of a music festival, but our stages are sports. So it's free for families, free to attend. And it's basically the most unique sporting experience and play. I call it play because it's really about play. So families can come and watch, try, experience different sporting experiences. We're the only event that I know of that brings together traditional sport, indigenous sport, adaptable sport, and Special Olympics sport all under one umbrella. So we run different activities and events for everybody, and we say everybody. This year we have the Arctic Games coming from Alaska for the first time for people to try. We showcase, and people can try blind soccer, sitting volleyball, curling, cricket. I mean, you name it. We pretty much have something for everyone, including inflatable obstacle courses and challenges and three-legged races, anything that's fun. And for me, it was about bringing play back. I think sometimes sport gets really serious, and I think people lose track of the fact that why we play sport is because it's called play and it's joy. And so I really wanted a festival that allowed people to be a little bit more engaged. So if you come to the Good Games, which I would welcome everybody to come, and everybody tells me they've never seen anything like it, and I think that's something I've heard consistently. You can come, you can park for free, and you can basically try and watch or play and experience as many different sport experiences as you want, play experiences as you want, including, for young kids, we have, fun stuff like face painting and balloon animals. But for the most part, you come there and it's a movement. We want people to get moving and have fun. And I think the cool thing I've noticed at our event is nobody's on their phone. Like, everybody is literally just having a great time. They're playing, they're trying different sports, they're, enjoying themselves. And they're, we've done three-legged races at our event, and it's funny to watch parents competing against kids and having just a blast. And I think it was just about bringing play and joy back into people. We've been in Guelph this is our fourth year now. So, everybody thinks it's a Guelph event. It's not. It's an international event. And from a festival perspective, we have people from Ottawa and Toronto and all over that come to our festival because there's really nothing like it anywhere. And I think every time I had a family that came from Toronto last year, and they came on Saturday, and then on Sunday they came and found me, and they said to me, I thought they were going to complain. So I'm like, anytime somebody finds the organizer, I'm like, oh no, what's wrong? And they were like, how are you doing this? And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I've never seen anything like this. We came yesterday. We went home to Toronto. We got our neighbors. We came back because it's all free. And I was like, yeah, well, I mean, it's free, but our partners pay for it. But for me, sport needs to be fun, joyous. It's got to be play, and it's got to be people got to be able to afford it. So that's why for me, making it free was definitely a must.
Well, it has been an absolute joy to talk to you today. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck. And for everyone who wants more information, go to thegoodgames.com. Thank you so much again for joining us today. Thanks so much for having me. I should mention it's June 27th and 28th at the University of Guelph. Yes, amazing. Thank you so much. Yes. Thanks everyone. So amazing to be able to talk to a Canadian Soccer Hall of Famer. Yep. Doesn't hurt, especially on a day like today. More soccer. Good thing. Helen, with some incredible points. The way that Canada continued to play is what's most intriguing about this squad. The way that they kept pushing, kept going for more goals. Like, you know what? They injured Ismaël Koné. Let's embarrass them now. And they did that. They got them so fired up that Julian Lopetegui tried to pick a fight with Jesse Marsch. He got feisty. Yeah, ill-advised after the game, I would say. But it does set up a massive game against Switzerland now. And that next Wednesday match, you just need a draw.
I don't think Canada is going to play like they just need a draw. I don't think they're just going to stick 11 guys behind the ball and try to stop Switzerland from scoring a goal. So it's going to put their mentality to the test. The one thing I would say, though, even though they do play an aggressive style of football, they do defend really well. At least their record shows that they defend really, really well. So Canada did the job. Now they got to keep doing it.
I want you to defend something for me that happened on the Team Canada squad. So they win 6-0, or many people in Canada say 6-0.
Yes.
Jesse Marsch went on the pitch. She had a bit of a celebration, getting ripped by some people for his lack of etiquette because of how they won and when they won. But Dan, because of like copyright stuff, we don't want to get flagged. I can't show the video of how he celebrated, but you watched it more than I have. How did it go?
It was some. I don't even know. It was like is this the Jesse Marsch? I don't know if that's the Jesse. It's like a dab with a slice. Like I don't.
Downward dap and then like. What the F was that? Somebody can we get?
I just know,
Zach, you're the young and break down what he was trying to do.
I don't know what that was.
I just know at Canadian weddings across this great nation of ours, there is going to be a lot of people doing the march on the dance floor this summer after having a few. Is it like what was
like
it? It was just
dap opening up. Like
it just didn't. It didn't make any. I can't figure
mixed
it
with
out.
like a side shuffle too. He was like sliding down the line.
What I realized from that is he has no game on the dance floor. But on that,
I don't know about that. It was like. It was.
That will be the first question.
It was fluid. There's some fluid movement going on there.
Was it?
It was an athletic dance move.
More than what any of the three of us have done in this room doing that reenactment. Yes.
That'd be the facts. And you know what else is factual? This segment is a presentation of the Ninja Flex Flame.
Ninja Flex Flame gives you 5 ways to cook. High heat grilling, low and slow smoking, crispier roasting, flat top griddling, artisan pizza making, and David Beckham cooks for you.
I did not agree to that.
Ninja Flex Flame.
Meet the Ninja Flex Flame, precision temperature control, wood fire smoke, and cyclonic air for grilling, smoking, roasting, pizza, and griddling, all under one hood. Grill pizza and everything in between. The Ninja Outdoor Grill and Artisan Pizza Maker are built for summer. Upgrade outside with Ninja. And we're going to upgrade our dance moves, the Jesse Marsch move, to talk about. The chat has been popping off, guys, about
Does anybody
the
realize
trade.
that Lindsay dances like Elaine Bennis? There it is. There it is.
Hell yeah, that's my signature move. I'm not ashamed of that. I've never said. I tried to show you how to line dance the other day for record, everyone. Dan and I were at a really cool event put on by Proline that we'll speak about in a moment. And Dan's like doing some salsa dad dancing. And so then I try to teach him how to line dance because we absolutely learned how to line dance in elementary school in Saskatchewan.
Shouts to Zio Nick. I should have went line dancing with you all those years ago, but
there's still time, my friend. There is still time.
Shouts to Mike, who says he's going to buy the Ninja Flex Flame. So
yes,
we like Mike.
We like Mike, and have us over for your grilling.
Be like Mike.
Be like Mike.
Be like Mike and get yourself a Ninja Flex Flame. That's
did you guys
that's the
ever
way.
see that movie with Little Bow Wow or whatever it was?
Of course
Like
I did.
Mike?
Yes.
Like Mike, let's go.
That's Lil Bow Wow. That was.
Yo yippee yay.
He had
where
a,
my
he had a nice
dogs
15
at?
minutes, didn't he?
Maybe 7. Anyways, the Leafs. We're definitely talking about this for more than 15 minutes because, like I said, the chat popping off about the fact that they've acquired Darren Raddysh in a sign and trade deal with Tampa. 8 years worth of reported $8.5 million. So the ripple effect, my guys. What does this mean for Morgan Riley? So I'm getting right to it.
I mean, look, Riley. It already seemed like Riley's time in Toronto was coming to an end, but now you start looking at the Leafs defense and kind of penciling in where everybody is going to fit, and you start to wonder if Riley's time is even, it's going to be expedited, his move out of Toronto. Now, again, he still holds all the cards here. I can see a scenario where Riley is still on this roster going into next season, but after signing Darren Raddysh, it just feels less likely that is going to happen. Raddysh is going to man the top power play. You don't sign him. You don't make this deal if you're not going to have him run your top power play. It obviously wasn't working and hasn't been working with Riley over the last number of years. I saw a stat. I probably should have double checked it, but it seems right to me. Dion Phaneuf is the last Maple Leafs defenseman to score more than 5 power play goals in a season.
What?
That's 15 years ago.
Dion.
What?
Yeah, 15 years ago.
Everything you say, what? That's a terrible stat. Okay, Raddysh. I love vegetables now. I love radishes now. I believe in you. Please make this happen for the first time in 15 years. Yeah, so some people not too happy with the reported year and amount that he's being paid, but I will say shout out to Chaika for making moves and being busy and keeping us on our toes. They were aggressive to get him.
Yeah, I guess that's the one thing here to take away from the last week, whether any of these things work out or not, is that Chaika's not afraid. He's not afraid to make moves. He's not afraid to make things happen. And by all accounts here now, it even extends above him with even starting with hiring John Chaika and Matt Sundin, is that they're not afraid to do things outside of the norm to begin with, and they're not afraid to try things. You know, that's why you hire a search firm that comes in and you ultimately end up landing on a guy who hadn't had a job since 2020. And you end up bringing in John Chaika and you bring in Matt Sundin, and then you go out and you interview 55 candidates and land on Jim Hiller, of all people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you went through the process, you did your due diligence, and you've determined to go with the non-sexy pick. And then next thing you know, you've traded Joseph Woll, who's a beloved player here in the market. And you go out and you acquire Darren Raddysh, which I think, to Dan's point, it probably means the writing's on the wall here for Morgan Riley. Even if you just look at the contract comparables between the two, you're about $1 million off, and it's kind of like, well, one guy does what the other does.
Yeah.
And now the only saving grace for Riley is that one's right-handed and one's left-handed. But outside of that, it's pretty much like, okay, we got you.
Yeah.
Like, we just got you, a couple of years younger and better at the power play. So he's not afraid to make things happen, and it just continues to feel like this isn't the end, right? Like, this is a move that's made by Chaika here, but we're hearing about, you know, other trade rumors and other people that they're involved in. Like, this doesn't feel like the end. And the one thing I'll say, this could all blow up in their face. It very well could.
Yes.
But, you know, by December of this year, we could be going, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
But they're not afraid to try things. And right now, they're going out and trying and making things happen.
The thing about it is, you know, you've got to be willing to get uncomfortable to try and make your team better. Is it a high risk? As Clayton mentioned in the chat, you know, wasn't he kind of a bit of an unknown prior to last season? Yeah, it's been a late bloomer kind of career for Darren Raddysh. It's really been just the last couple of years, and this past season he really broke out with 22 goals and 70 points. Is he signing this contract with the Leafs and I'm expecting him to have another 20-goal season? No, I'm not, you know, and he doesn't need to for this deal to still work for the Leafs. He needs to average about 50 points a year, especially if he's running the top power play. Yes, that's true, but he doesn't need to be a 70-point guy for this to make sense for the Leafs. He also has to maintain a lot of the good stuff he was doing in Tampa Bay. You know, his metrics defensively were also very strong. His ability to move the puck, very good. Spends very little time in his own end, and when he does, he defends pretty well. There's a lot to like about Darren Raddysh, assuming he's able to maintain a lot of the good that he did this past year. The thing about it, and people are saying this because it's obvious, like, oh, this is a desperate move by the Leafs, going and being the team that's overpaying for the 30-year-old breakout and giving him an 8-year deal to make sure the deal gets done. It's like, yeah, they're kind of desperate. I don't know if you noticed, the Leafs are in an extremely desperate position.
They are desperate.
So I don't know if you're trying to shock anybody by being like, oh, look, desperate team making a desperate move. They are desperate. They need to make desperation moves that hit big in order for them to get this thing back on track. And that's what this is. It's a desperation move but it's one that has a chance. It immediately makes this team better. How much better? That's still to be determined. But with Matthews on the 2-year clock, that the Leafs are very committed to keeping him on and trying to convince him that there is a winning path and a winning future in Toronto, you've got to make desperate moves that are high risk, high reward if you're going to get this thing back to back, at least the playoffs next season.
A couple moments from the chat right now. Thank you for joining us on Off the Roster on YouTube. Make sure to hit that like button. Dan will then dance like Elaine, but we want to hear your thoughts.
I mean,
on
you
what
already
is happening.
did.
Yeah, but I feel like you could take it to
I'll
a
do
10.
the Marsch again. I won't.
What is the
Let's
Marsch?
see the Marsch.
Yeah.
You know, the Jesse Marsch. I don't know if the head thing is in
I
there.
think it's more like separate.
Yeah, it was like more
It's a separate?
It's like we're actually Vanna Whiting the TV right now, so we're going to stop that. But Kevin in the chat saying, Riley needs to go for his own sake of nothing else. Sometimes you just need to end a relationship for both sides to flourish. And then Mike saying, Leafs should have seen if they could have plucked Vince Dunn from Seattle instead. And he also adds, if they trade Knies, he will lose his SHIT.
Vince Dunn's Italian, apparently, so I'd be
Great
all
last
for
name.
that.
Me too. We want Vince Dunn here for so many reasons.
Part of it, too, is Raddysh is a right-shot defenseman. And those are very difficult to find, as we know. It's just the position in the league that is the least populated with talent. And Darren Raddysh fills that void for the Leafs. If you start to look at what it could look like, maybe Jake McCabe and Raddysh, or Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Raddysh, there's options that they can go with that still make sense for the Leafs. And you have an opportunity now to maybe use trade assets to go and get something else, if that is how you want to go about continuing to add to this roster, because it only cost you a 5th-round pick to get Darren Raddysh. Now you've still got some assets in the tank to potentially add a forward to this group.
Yeah, you talk about, I mean, in the chat there, Mike saying go and get Vince Dunn instead. I think at this point with John Chaika, who's to say he doesn't go get a Vince Dunn? Maybe it's not Vince Dunn himself, but who's to say he stops there? Like, by all accounts, he still wants to continue to upgrade the defense. He goes and gets Emile Andre. That's one stepping stone in terms of making this thing a more offensive, mobile, defensive group. And now you've gotten rid of Simone Benoit. Like, that's another piece that you have to also remember here, is it's not just bringing in Emile Andre. It's not just bringing in Darren Raddysh. It's flushing out the things that don't check the boxes. That's Simone Benoit. He doesn't fit the mold. He's out the door. Kind of feels like Brandon Carlo could be in that kind of territory there as well, of a guy who's going to go. Morgan Riley we expect to go. That's 3 defensemen that you're going to end up losing. And you can't just say, we'll get rid of 3 guys and not bring anything in. So there has to be more that's going to come with all of this. And even talking about Morgan Riley, if he goes out, that's a guy who plays 20, 22, 24 minutes a night for this team on any given night. That's a lot of minutes. Who's filling those minutes? Okay, Darren Raddysh is going to be part of it, but if you're shipping off other pieces, like, I just feel like John Chaika has more up his sleeve here. And to your point, Dan, okay, yeah, Vince Dunn, that's great. Go get the guy. What's it going to cost you? This one cost you a 5th-round pick, and it allowed you to knock down some of the AAV, obviously. You get him for 8 years, which is something that nobody else would have been able to do, or anybody, for that matter, would have been able to do had he gotten to free agency.
He was getting more than 9 on July 1 if he made it there.
Bingo. And now he gets an extra year here in Toronto. You take him down to 8.5, and it helps your AAV over time. And, like, it's not our money, so it's easier to say, but the reality is, by the time you get to year 8, what the hell does it matter to pay the guy another $8.5 million? So for the Leafs, they're just like, it's basically 7 years at 8.5, because the 8th year, who the hell cares?
Yeah, and if the cap keeps going up at the rate that it is going up currently, not to say that $8 million is nothing, but you know, you'll be able to afford having some contracts that aren't great value on your books. Which is a lot different from where we were during the flat cap era, where you just couldn't have inefficient money and be a true Stanley Cup contender at the same time. It was very difficult to do both of those things. So John Chaika, he made one declaration in his news conference, his opening news conference. We need to improve our defense. He would not elaborate on literally anything else. But the one thing he said is we have to improve our defense. And that's the one thing he has targeted most here as the offseason has began. He opened up cap space and got a young, promising, puck-moving defenseman with Emil Andre. Now he goes and adds more of a sure thing in Darren Raddysh with the extra available cap space that they've just opened up. So what's your next move? That's going to be the interesting one. I still think there's going to be some subtraction before they add, but there's just nothing in free agency that's really all that interesting other than the biggest name they just got, Darren Raddysh. So now it's still a lot of intrigue as to what John Chaika's next move might be.
Darren Raddysh also, sorry, Lindsay, just a last thing to throw in here. He doesn't just check the box of power play guy, hammer from the point, plays PP1. Like, he is a mobile, puck-moving defenseman, very active, a solid stick that he has. He's really good defensively.
Going to play all situations.
He's physical. Yep. Like, he's gonna play everywhere, as Dan just said. He's gonna play everywhere. So it's a big ticket. It's a little bit of a shock value to wake up and see 8 years, 8.5. It was a little bit of me this morning. I woke up and went, oh my God, all right. But he does do everything for you. 30 years old, you hope it lasts a while, but even if you get 4 years out of him at that price of good, solid hockey where he can put up 40, 50, 60 points, I don't anticipate 70 points every year, but that's a good pickup for this team and a guy who does a lot of what you need. Because even to that point, Morgan Rielly, we looked at him and said, okay, offensive power play guy, but he does nothing for you defensively, and then if the power play is not going and he's not bringing anything offensively, he's just a guy who's eating up contract for you out there, and that's not what Darren Raddysh does because he's going to bring it on both sides of the puck.
He was bad on the power play. Like, Rielly had gotten bad on the power play.
It's so bad I don't want to ever talk about it or look at highlights from it low lights if we're being correct. But yeah, exact same thing. When I came into the office and I saw that it was reportedly 8 years, I looked at Dan. I'm like, I thought they can't do that. That was me complaining. I'm like, but yes, if he with Tampa, he could only do 7. Anywhere else, it was 8. But it was like, please, 8 years at 30 years old in real human life. That's young. Yes. But in NHL terms, I am not excited to see how it plays out. But in the moment for the first couple of years, the Leafs, a lot to be excited about.
And they do have to get younger on defense because, you've got Rielly in his 30s, which he might get traded. But Tanev, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, now you add Raddysh, 30 plus. Yeah. Jake McCabe is also pretty old up there as far as, NHL terms, professional athlete terms. So you're going to have to get younger somewhere on defense. And I wonder how they go about doing that. But you still can't take away from, hey, here's a player that's available. He checks a lot of the boxes that we currently need to check. Yep. This is something that could work for us, even if it's somewhat uncomfortable. The one thing about Raddysh on the power play, he's not going to have Nikita Kucherov with him anymore. Now, maybe Gavin McKenna ends up being Kucherov light, but he's going to be 18 years old. I think we all need to pump the brakes on this guy being, anything close to what even Mitch Marner had been as a 100-point player for the Maple Leafs. Like, it's not going to be an immediate replacement of some of those points that the Leafs were missing last year. Like, Raddysh isn't the main power play quarterback. Kucherov was off the half wall in Tampa. So he's not quite that guy, but he still provides a different element. Teams would shade towards Matthews and just completely take Matthews out of the power play, and that really made it difficult for the Leafs. Now you've got another big shooting threat on the power play that could space things out for the Leafs, whose power play was kind of dreadful last year.
I think that's the most important thing with him there. Obviously, having a playmaker who can get him the puck is going to be pretty key for the success of him personally and the points that he can produce, because that might be something we look at as the season goes on and be like, he's not really at that 70-point pace that he was on in Tampa. But what he ultimately ends up doing for Nylander and for Matthews to free them up might actually be something that's worth just as much, if not more, to the team long term in terms of point production. Because if he can go there, like Morgan Rielly, let's call it what it is, he would get the puck at the point, and it was basically like they would defend him like a big man who couldn't shoot the three.
Yeah.
Teams would just be like, okay, like you have it. And then next thing you know, he's got to walk in and shoot some muffin on net. And it's like, well, yeah, that's what happens. He's got nothing to his game. Darren Raddysh, they can't play him that way. They got to play honest, and that might allow Matthews and Nylander a little bit more.
He had 96 shots over 90 miles an hour last year.
Jesus.
You know what to say to that?
Yes.
Do the marsh.
Do the marsh. Well, you brought up free agency. Well, guess what? One of the biggest days on the NHL calendar is almost here, and Daily Faceoff has you covered with a Daily Faceoff free agency special. Our insiders will break down every signing, every rumor, and all of the biggest moves as they happen. Catch a live stream July 1st at noon Eastern on the Daily Faceoff YouTube channel and socials. And also, guys, one more time, it is Friday. We love Fridays, and this week is Men's Health Week. And for this Men's Health Week and Father's Day, take one simple step for your health, because caring for yourself means more time, more memories, and more milestones. Healthy fathers help build healthier families. Get more time with the ones that matter most. Learn more at Movember.com. And when we talk about mental health in the group chat, I was so happy not only for Vladdy hitting the home run yesterday, but for Dan, because then for one day you didn't have to call him Vladdy Singles Jr.
That's right, yes.
It was beautiful. You could, like, he was smiling, and like you could tell when he was playing.
I was smiling because Canada won 6-0. You know,
Yeah.
Come on, give Vladdy some love.
I
Swept them.
I was happy to see that the Jays swept the Red Sox, and Vladdy was got his first home run since May 17th. Not that we've been looking at the calendar or anything on that.
Who
front.
was it yesterday? It was off air after when we were leaving. One of the two of you said Vladdy's hitting 2 tonight.
It was me. But then I said, Zach, I've said that yesterday and every other day.
Fair enough.
I was so pumped
Dan and
for
I
him.
were just like, let's just get one. You got one.
Let's just get one. Okay, now go on a tear, Vladdy. Let's see you get on a hot streak that carries the Jays to like a 20-13 stretch that really corrects their record and sets them up to have a comfortable second half where they can sail into one of these wild card spots.
So 2 questions for you. Mm-hmm. How did you feel when IKF hit that bomb?
I mean, not the best because, Jays wanted to. It's like, it's another one where Louis Varland isn't available to close this one out, and this is just how it's going to go. And you're going to feel not great about how this series ended after it felt pretty good for the first 2 games.
So what happened in the game, and this isn't like a full recap for those, it's just Savage yesterday, he was pitching. Like, he seemed like he was on cruise control. I was watching the away team's broadcast, but my understanding is on the home broadcast, they were saying like the exact same thing. He was on cruise control. They left him into the 8th, which was the longest that he has pitched in a regular season game. And heck, I am not mad about that. I love that he trusted him and tried to do that, because obviously the bullpen, they're feeling it. They've had to perform on so many occasions because of injuries. And then IKF comes in, first pitch, home run, bottom of the 8th, then home run next at bat. It was back-to-back home runs and then
tie game.
But thankfully,
Valenzuela, and I mean this in like a very friendly way, what an absolute stud. Like, he has just been such a rookie sensation. Obviously, we saw the impact of what has happened when Kirky went down. He was brought up, and then because of him performing so well, that Heineman ended up getting DFA'd and now is going to the Angels. But another clutch moment where he just breaks through with that bat. He's been unbelievable. It's why, the decision for Tyler Heineman to get DFA'd was like too easy to make. It's just
Zach did it first, but you guys didn't see it off camera.
It was just it just made too much sense. And for as much as Valenzuela, it's like, this is a young guy, we want to get him as much at bats as possible. His bat is too valuable to this team right now with where they are at, that they just could not take him out. And he has another big clutch moment for the Jays, which they absolutely needed. And then Mason Fluharty closes it out in the 9th for the save. These are, when you're in the spot that the Jays are in, these are kinds of the things you're going to need to happen. And, now what? You're in the wild card spot, feeling pretty good about things, coming off a series sweep of the Red Sox, their first sweep since the first series of the year. Now you go into Chicago and Wrigley Field and see what you can do there. Can you steal another 2 out of 3 against the Cubbies? This is how the Jays start building their way into a comfortable position in the standings. And to have done that with Vladdy performing at the level that he has is admirable. But as always, the daily reminder, for the Jays to reach their ceiling, they need Vladdy to get back to Vladdy levels on a consistent basis.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to see what they're doing against the Cubs. I will not call them the Cubbies at all.
You know what they need?
Oh, thank you for bringing this up, because right now, if you were listening, Zach thankfully brought up a cartoon of Jesse Marsch's celebration, breaking
it's
like this.
And you get the head involved.
And then he Saturday Night Fevers it?
I guess.
Yeah. It's more of a chair shuffle than it is.
It looks like a robot that is
like
malfunctioning. 100% is what that dance was. And let me tell you, like I mentioned, I saw Dan dance in public this week because we were at a really fun moment that you can be a part of as well. It involves Proline because it is time now for the 416 Proline picks. Proline Split Loyalty merch experience will be driving around Toronto today. If you want to go and get custom merch of your favorite teams, you can find out where the van will be on their Instagram page. We had a great time. Tunes were pumping. I got a cool bucket hat. You got
a tote bag
with
an Argentina and Canada flag on it. They wouldn't give me an Italy flag because
they're not in it.
Yeah, because Italy's not in the World Cup. So I went with Argentina because Lionel Messi's of Italian heritage. I don't know if you know this about Messi, but
you will connect anybody to Italian heritage, which, by the way, I will connect anyone to the Dunn name. No, I'm not related to Vince Dunn or Chris Dunn of the NBA, but I would love for them to play for Toronto teams so I don't have to get a customized jersey. But Dan, do you remember what my Split Loyalty hat was?
It was Canada. And Brazil.
Are you picking them for your Proline look ahead at all?
I am looking at Brazil today, as we always look at the big tournament because we've only got a month of it. So we look at Brazil today. They've got Haiti, and Brazil was underwhelming in their first match of the event, so they need to get it back on track. This is a get-right spot against a small nation. This is a game where they are heavily favored, so you're not going to get much unless you pull the Zach and you go for the big spread pick, which hit yesterday for Canada. So that was pretty nice. And we hit with the Jonathan David goal. But we're going to go with Brazil to win and both teams to score. I'm not convinced about Brazil defensively, so Haiti might get one in this one. That's my play for today. Brazil win and both teams to score.
I know that there's World Cup action, and I know that I'm pretty tiled on the World Cup action right now, given the win yesterday. But I'm going to go to hockey because there is still hockey being played.
Marlies.
And a Toronto team has opportunity to win a championship. So the Toronto Marlies to win tonight against the Chicago Wolves, -1.5. Elimination game, desperate times for the Chicago Wolves. Marlies get a lead, pulled goalie for Chicago. Bada boom, bada bing.
Yeah.
2-goal lead, 2-goal win. At minimum for us here tonight for the Toronto Marlies, -1.5. That is my best bet for today.
I love this. I hope you hit the picks.
Who knew Leafs legend Caden Primo was now on the Chicago Wolves?
Dude, I turned it on. I turned on the TV. I was like, what?
I had the exact same reaction. I was like, Caden Primo? Really?
Of all guys.
What a season this guy had, man.
No kidding. He played for 43 teams. I couldn't believe that was who was out there in net for Chicago. But, hey, good for him. Found his rhythm, I guess. So.
You know who did not find their rhythm yesterday? Jazz from the New York Yankees. I'm sorry, I can't be mature and say his last name, and I'm not going to be mature when we play this video because this is my favorite highlight of the Major League Baseball season so far. So we will take a look at what happened in the Yankees game yesterday.
Lindsay would not have voted for Barney Rubble.
He felt that
in
one.
the Simpsons.
Remember, Jez fouled a ball off his foot last night. I don't know where he fouled this one off, and I don't really want to know. I don't think it was the foot.
Yeah, no,
look
not
at this
the foot.
curveball right here. See, Jazz hits right
Oh!
on. That's why. That one will have you singing at a high pitch in the shower.
That's a good line.
It's the commentary. And if you're listening, he got hit between the legs.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about a protective cup because it's reported he does not wear one, and normally I follow up and ask him if he wears one.
Well, he had to leave the game.
He had to leave the game, and you see his teammates like Aaron Judge kind of snickering from the dugout. But
wear a cup.
I've watched it like 10 times. I think this is just here alone. I've watched it 10 times, and I've sent it to so many people. But it's also the commentary, like that will have you say hi in the shower.
That's a good line.
We know an easy stand-up routine that would make Lindsay laugh at least.
Also, it's WTF Friday. That was part of WTF Friday. That was my pick.
Speaking of great commentary moments, Boston Red Sox having a tough season. Jays beating up on the Red Sox this week, and this was a great line that closed out Game 2 on the Red Sox broadcast yesterday. So Louis Varland in to close.
And the 0-2 to Wilson. Swing and a miss, strike 3 at 100 miles an hour to end the ball game 3-0. That felt like a root canal with no painkiller. Red Sox again leaving 13 men on base. That's 26
tell me how you really feel.
In the first 2 games. They are now a season high.
Felt like a root canal with no painkiller. There's been a few Blue Jays games that have felt that way this year as well. But
root canal with no painkiller.
Little honesty there from the Red Sox broadcast.
I feel like it's baseball. Like baseball's got to be the one place where you just get these lines like this because it's like there's so many games.
Yes.
The games can really drag on at times, and they just get buried in there where you just have to think of something creative to say. Mm-hmm. Like we just played back-to-back videos. Like that one will have you singing at a high pitch in the shower, and then that one felt like a root canal with no painkillers. Back-to-back videos.
It's pretty incredible.
We
baseball.
Should probably celebrate that moment.
Yeah, baseball more than any other. More than any other sport. When you're in June and you know your team is like cooked and you're just like staring down the barrel of the next 3 months being dreadful baseball to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, first world problems for people working in sports media, but it can be something. Finally, for WTF Fridays, this was seen at the March to the Match in Vancouver. Jersey foul or big dub for the person who swapped a Connor McDavid jersey with a J and put J. David on a Canada hockey jersey.
You know what? 10 out of 10.
This is good.
This is good. 10 out of 10. Saving the money. It's a Canada jersey.
And if you're budgeting and you're like, you know what? I don't know if I want to pay $150 for a new Canada jersey.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make my own.
You get a dual sports.
I respect that.
You know what? That's a split loyalty right there.
That is a split loyalty right now. I'm a hockey guy, but I'm on the bandwagon for this incredible Canada run. Let's do it.
You know what I saw yesterday? A guy riding a bike downtown with a
cat.
No, so he was wearing all red, first of all, like red shoes, red socks, red shorts, red hat. The full kit, and this is after Canada had played yesterday. So I went to a concert last night. We went from the restaurant we were at. We walked over after the Canada game to the concert. So we got to see the thing in full, and then people were just out in the streets. This guy's riding a bike down the street, and he's wearing a jersey. He custom made it into like a football jersey, and when I say football, I mean like American football jersey. A Sidney Crosby 2010 Canada Olympics jersey that he had cut the sleeves off and took the 87 and put them up on the shoulders and put a hoodie on the jersey too. And he was riding the bike down the street like yelling at people to get excited and get pumped up.
I have a lot of thoughts of that. I sent a photo in the group chat. I don't know how long it will take for you to get up there because on the topic of jerseys, one of my friends yesterday, they have a Japan kit or jersey for the World Cup, and they said they were going to cut it into a crop top and cut like slits in the back to air it out. And I was like, that is so offensive. I don't even understand like why. And then jersey crimes. This is a whole other conversation we need to talk about. Also, shout out to Miss Mel in the chat. And when it comes to the Jazz moment. She says she loves it. It knocked him in the biscuits. Never heard that called that before.
The biscuits. No, don't call it biscuits.
So this is what I saw in the streets of Toronto yesterday on my way to go to a viewing party. This is someone on a scooter with just a cat hanging out on their neck, and I was with a bunch of people from BBC. I'm like, yeah, this isn't like a typical Toronto moment that you're seeing. Have you ever seen a cat being transported like this?
No.
Have you ever seen a cat? I was trying to think of what's the Dr. Seuss? I got lost in
Cat
it right
with a
away.
hat.
Cat with a hat, yeah.
On that note, thank you for joining us for Off the Roster, where Zach will be spitting the rhymes on Monday. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us on the live stream. We have much more on the Off the Roster YouTube channel. Interviews, shorts, reels, post-game clips. If you need that